What's up, everyone? It's Ollie with another review of Canada's Drag Race, episode 7, I believe. This is the pageant. Actually, I forgot what the episode title was. But anyways, this apparently is the first pageant episode ever in the history of Drag Race. But Trinity the Tuck Taylor from season 9 and also the winner of All Stars 4 along with Monet X Change clocked it last night. What about the pageant of season 9 that Nina Bonina Brown won? Yes, shout out to Nina Bonina Brown. Her raw views are everything. So like I said, the top 6 is competing in the first ever pageant. Miss Loose Jaw. Miss Loose Jaw. That is it. Also, this was the episode that I've been waiting for to see Allie X, my queen. Oh. You're overqualified to be a guest judge on Drag Race, and I bet you are. Like, why hasn't that happened yet? I want to know.
I'm friends with so many of the girls. I'm such an ally, and I'm such a super fan. Let's make it happen, guys.
More on that in a minute, but anyways, let's get to the top 6 of competing for the title of Miss Loose Jaw. So there's no mini challenge this week, which is nice because then the queens can just kind of focus on the freaking pageant, because not only is it about committing to a character, a lot of it's improv. Rita picked the character of Mismatched, which is a character that I thought was like this hopeless romantic. They were described that was the character, but she's kind of a little ditzy, a little out of there, and she was an okay character. It wasn't exciting, and I think Rita kind of had this arc in this episode of not wanting to be vulnerable and just constantly being strong because she is a house mother, and I think that is very commendable. Like, I get where she's coming from of being that parental figure for so many people and wanting to, be strong for the people that look up to her, but also keep in mind that it's okay to show that vulnerable side. And if you do open up and show that vulnerable side to your kids, they'll see you in a different light, and it will open up the conversation and open up so many doors, and they'll see you being vulnerable. And I think it's really beautiful, and it might create like a new relationship for your kids, so always keep in mind that yes, be strong, but it's okay to show vulnerability to your kids. Going on to Misfits, which was personally one of my favorites of the week. Lemon, she nailed the character. It was just this character who is very constantly losing in the pageant scene and has a lot of layers, and I think that was kind of like the key to this challenge, was to have a character that is a notable archetype, but have layers to that character, have a story, and where that character, like, you see where that character's backstory, you see where they're going, and I think she had such a great concept to her character. Jimbo's Misbehavin', I gotta say, was such a standout with the big boobs, totally doing all these sexual innuendos. She killed it. And it's so sad because this could have been another win for Jimbo, but unfortunately, due to her runway, which we'll talk about, another controversial topic, Ilona had the character of Miserable, which I feel like this is a character that Ilona's got a lot in this competition. A character who's very whiny. The judges said she wasn't likable, and I have to agree with that. A character that's just very, it was almost similar to her Sissy last week that was just kind of whining and complaining. We haven't really seen Ilona, aside from, like, the best Ilona performance was Rebecca Moore, Cock Destroyer, whereas this was just another whiny, sad, pouty character for her, which was unfortunate. Talk about being typecast. Priyanka's misdemeanor, oh my gosh, sucks, because I love me some Priyanka, but this is another performance, another improv challenge where she just failed. It was one note, and it didn't go anywhere. I don't think it was the worst, but it didn't go anywhere, and I was really hoping that she can kind of overcome another improv challenge and really hit the nail on the mark, because she's such an entertainer, she's such a huge performer, but I think I guess it's just improv isn't good with Priyanka. I don't know. She's an amazing lip syncer, which is kind of improv too. It can be, but oh man, it sucked. I'm like, Priyanka, I don't want you in the bottom again. And last but not least, Misinformed Scarlett. I'm rooting for Scarlett. She's highly underrated. The judges are never giving her the win. She's finally in the top this week, which we'll talk about. However, I think this performance, she nailed it. She was in character. She didn't break. You didn't see her second guess herself. It was a fun character. I don't think it was the strongest, unfortunately, but I really did. I was rooting for her. I was rooting for this entire episode because I I feel like if she would have won, she would have solidified like possibly being at the top. But I think, you know, I'm just going to talk about it now. I think they're giving her kind of what they did to Jan this past season on RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't want to say they're setting her up, but what I've been seeing, it seems like it's just safe. Because, spoiler alert, Scarlett didn't win this week, which is very unfortunate. Before we talk about the looks, I do want to shout out Michelle Dewberry, who was, apparently, I didn't know this, the oldest working drag queen right now. I'm thinking, oh, okay, someone's older than Lady Bunny, but it's so cool. I love that the queens talked about this week. It's just kind of like paying homage and paying your respect to your elders in the community, those people who came before you to fight for your rights, and constantly living through these movements that a lot of us young folk haven't. And we really just have to pay our respects to the people that came before us and the people who fought for us, you know, all of the amazing trans women of color that fought for us, you know, Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, all these amazing people that really paved the way for all of us. Also, shout out to Principal Snake. I used to watch Degrassi here and there, and it was so nice to see him on the judging panel, or on the not the judging panel, on the, it was so nice to see him on the pageant judging along with Michelle. Because I used to watch Degrassi a little bit here and there before it got a little bit too crazy. But I forget, I'm like, oh yeah, Degrassi, that's a Canadian show. Also this week, Lemon talked a lot about body image. Especially in the queer community. I know body image affects everyone. It affects everyone, doesn't matter who you are. But particularly like in the queer community where there is kind of like this huge emphasis on looking a certain way with the muscles, the shredded abs, you know, like that's what we see a lot in the queer community, and I think because of that, our expectations of like how we should view ourselves and how we should view like a partner, that's like the only representation of what we see of positive body image, which isn't positive body image. It's like that's all that people should strive for. But no, like everyone has the power to be sexy and feel confident regardless of what body they are in. So my heart really goes out to Lemon, and I love that everyone spoke about on this issue. You see how it affected Lemon in this episode and how she was getting very emotional because she didn't have the typical dancer body that, you know, when she was going to school that she thought she should have. But no, Lemon's a freaking dancer. She can get the choreography. And I think the moral of the story is everyone has the power to be confident and sexy in the body that they're in. And that's that, period. So it's just a huger topic than, you know, just the couple minutes that the episode shined upon. You know, body dysmorphia affects everyone, no matter what body type you're in. And we're always constantly living up to this stupid body expectation that we should not, because it's BS. It's all BS. You know, body image affects everyone. It affects people with muscles. It affects people who are thicker. It affects people that are skinny, because we're all trying to live up to this stupid expectations of society that are BS, because the media is just constantly trying to tell you what is beautiful. But honestly, you need to tell yourself what's beautiful, and what's beautiful is you. So without further ado, let's get to the runways. Starting with Rita. Rita had this gorgeous pageant gown with the gloves, and I was definitely feeling the Bridget Nielsen fantasy. However, I think despite the garment was beautiful, the gloves, the beautiful dress, I didn't like the wig. The wig was just, I feel like she went back to her character, mismatched. The wig didn't match the garment. And I think like this was a perfect time to wear like an updo, or kind of have like a short side swoop, like Linda Evangelista, for crying out loud. I don't know. Going back to Bridget Nielsen, it looked like Bridget Nielsen going to the Academy Awards. It didn't look like Rita in like a pageant, honestly. I absolutely loved Lemon's. I think Lemon was, if she wasn't my favorite, she was my favorite. Nitpicking, I think I didn't like the little biscuit. I know it's like toddlers and tiaras, that's what they wear. However, it's still drag. So I would have just wanted that shoe to been a heel, not the biscuit kind of like tap shoe kind of toddler and tiara. Because I feel like it still would have been like the message of kind of like this competing in a little kids pageant. But it's drag, so just change it to like a little white pump. You still keep the strap, still keep the socks, but I just wanted to pump. That's all, Lemon. But I loved it. I loved it so much. Scarlett. I think Scarlett looks so beautiful. You know, I was already rooting for her. I'm like, oh, Scarlett might win. Scarlett might win. I think there was like the piece of fabric on this particular dress that I thought could have been taken away just to kind of like, you know, I kind of like the less is more a little bit. I know it's drag, but anyways. Dita Von Teese, she was going for the little white stripe and the black hair. It looked beautiful. It was so freaking polished, but still the Scarlett Bobo that we love. And I think she had like rings that said Scarlett Bobo or something, or her initials. I don't know, but you know, I loved it. Priyanka, oh my God. Okay, Priyanka, when she's wearing these blues, these yellows, these orange on her skin, it pops. She looks beautiful. I think she even said that this was like an homage to her grandma. So freaking beautiful. And she's so smart because she wears garments that she might have to lip sync in. She had the slit. She was giving us Bollywood fantasy. So that's the dress you can perform in. And I think a lot of these queens need to keep in mind, wear something beautiful, extravagant, yeah, this, that, the third, but keep in mind, most importantly, wear something that you might have to lip sync in. Wear something you might have to lip sync in. Like Jimbo, like you might have to lip sync in that big old thing, that big Cinderella stepsister thing. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, Priyanka, beautiful. One of my favorites with Lemon. I think if I had to change anything, I know the hair was pretty pageanty, but I think, you know, since it's keeping Bollywood kind of actress in mind, you know, a lot of these Bollywood actresses have like this beautiful, luscious, flowing or straight dark hair. I would have loved to see that with this dress. Love to see it. But yeah, other than that, I loved it. Ilona, you know, Ilona is the queen of pastels, and you know, I'm gay, so I love me my pastels. I think I agree with what the judges said of like, maybe since the top was so top heavy with the jewels, beautiful, by the way. I just love the color palette. Maybe kind of accentuate the bottom of the dress with some of those jewels. She had a lot. It was a lot. She had like a choker. She had like these dangly earrings. I'm complaining as if this isn't drag. But anyways, it was just a lot. I love the piece of the dress on the top with all the jewels. But I feel like you maybe should have you should have kept your bottom in mind. You should have maybe put some of the jewels like around the bottom. Just to, you know, you want to spread the love. Spread the jewels everywhere. We want the jewels everywhere. We just don't, you know, keep your bottoms in mind. It's not all about the tops. Keep the bottoms in mind. Are we still talking about the dresses? Are we still talking about drag? The judges said, like, her hair was a little bit George Washington or something. I was like, what? The hair's fine. I don't know what you're talking about. The hair that's not fine was Rita's. Rita's hair, not Ilona's hair. And last but not least, Jimbo. Oh, Jimbo. Jimbo, it's so hard because I think a part of me really did like this. I liked it. I didn't think it was as bad as the judges came off. There was nothing glamorous about it. What? Like Jimbo, like how they treat Jimbo is just really weird, especially last week when I thought Jimbo should have won. I'm about to sneeze. Sorry if I sneeze in the middle of this rant. The fact that, you know, you don't give the win to Jimbo last week. And Jeffrey's like, welcome to the competition, Jimbo. Bitch. How dare he say that? When Jimbo even won a challenge prior to that episode, and Jimbo's just been slaying the runways, slaying a lot of the performances. And now they just read her to death about saying how horrible her look was this week. I feel like, yes, maybe the silhouette wasn't that great, wasn't that flattering. She kind of got lost. But I think that was, in a sense, kind of the point. I think maybe it was too similar to her paper runway. That silhouette was almost identical. However, this was just very, like, ugly Cinderella stepsister. But wasn't ugly. I love what she did with the face. She tried so hard to like use tape to pull her face and make it look younger. I know they said she looked very matronly, but I don't think the face was as bad. I think, yes, maybe the dress wasn't that flattering, but I don't know. They really just destroyed her a little bit. And I think because they didn't like her look, that really lessened her chances of winning. So I think I kind of like sympathize with Jimbo a little bit and how frustrated she was this week and how she went after Jeffrey and Untucked. She went after Rita's hair, which was like, I was like, okay, well, Did she lie though? Did she lie? Did Jimbo lie? Did Jimbo lie? I felt a little bit bad for Rita, but did she lie? I don't know, you tell me. And last but not least, you know I can't end this episode without talking about Allie X. I had the pleasure of interviewing her last year at DragCon, and she was so nice, so sweet, so beautiful. So got to see her perform. I'm just a huge fan. I think she's a very talented songstress. I was just so really happy for her because we talked about her being a guest judge on Drag Race. I always wanted to see her on Drag Race. She is an ally. She is a huge super fan. She's friends with a lot of the queens. Definitely go check out her music. So many bops on bops on bops on bops. Lo and behold, it is Ilona and Priyanka in the bottom. And I'm like, okay, Priyanka, I think Priyanka's got this. If anything, Priyanka is good at, if anything, you know that bitch can fucking lip sync the house down. Remember when she annihilated Kiara, even though Kiara did good, but still killed it. Whew. And Ilona didn't, she didn't back down. She kind of stood there, but I think Ilona is a huge fan of Allie X, which we found out later. But she didn't let that bring her down, even though Priyanka was slaying. I thought this song choice wasn't my favorite Allie X song, but it was a good choice for the pageant. Like, I love the pageant theme of the episode because I love Priyanka. It was called Hello, and Priyanka utilized the lyrics to her benefit of turning that hello into the pageant wave. I was like, and Priyanka's just, you can't keep your eyes off her. You can't. But props to Ilona. It was so nice to have her being such a great representation on this show. I love that Allie X, you know, you can tell that she's such a huge ally of going to check on her when she got eliminated. That was so sweet. You don't see that often. I think that just shows that that's a guest judge that should be invited back, because that's a guest judge that cares about the contestants, cares about the show, is a super fan, is an ally, and wants to show thanks to them and wants to just show gratitude to them and what they have brought to the competition. So that has been my review of Canada's Drag Race Season 1, Episode 7, Miss Loose Jaw. Tell me what you thought, if there's anything I missed. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who's your favorites? Who's your pick to win? Who's going home next? Oh, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Ollie Dreamer. And until then, I'll see you guys next week. Stay fabulous.